Insects really vary in size and appearance. In fact, there are over 900,000 different species of insects in the world, and that's about 80% of all living creatures on the planet. So it's not surprising that there are insects that are really bigger than others. And some of them are so huge they look like monsters from a nightmare. From beetles that look terrifying and are heavy, to wasps that can devour crabs or tarantulas. Here are 15 of the largest insects discovered around the world. But before we start that, if you're new to our channel, please don't forget to subscribe so you'll always be updated with our videos. Number 15, Giant Weta. The giant weta, or Wetapunga, is a very large insect, a type of wingless cricket that is found only on Little Barrier Island off the coast of North Island in New Zealand. These rare insects are believed to have fallen victim to disruptions in the food chain caused by predators. In the early 20th century, many wildcats lived on Little Barrier Island. These cats controlled the rat population, especially the Polynesian rats. However, when people arrived and decided to remove the wildcats, it was as if they invited the rats to spread. The rats eat the weta at night, and during the day, they are eaten by the saddleback birds. It's not surprising that they almost disappeared, but as often happens, there were still people who figured out what happened and decided to remove the rats. Slowly, the number of weta increased again, and now this insect is also being introduced to other places where there are no predators. But in reality, this kind of interference in the food chain is quite risky, and there may come a day when we are overrun by huge insects. Moth, the Atlas moth, has wings that are even wider than a human hand. That's why it's no surprise that it is considered one of the largest moths in the world. But despite their size and frightening appearance, it's surprising that because of a flaw in their design, they can no longer eat. Once they emerge from their cocoon, they can no longer eat and their lives become very short. As caterpillars, they are like always hungry worms, eating voraciously and restlessly until they pupate. But in the final stage of their lives as atlas moths, they are destined to die soon. The wings of the atlas moth can reach up to 12 inches, and that's just the edges. The total surface area of the insect can reach almost 62 square inches. Their caterpillars are also large, reaching about 4.5 inches as they change before starting their transformation. They need to eat a lot because the food they consume will only last them for their short lifespan, which usually lasts just 1 to 2 weeks. During this time, they mostly just lie still, conserving their precious energy reserves, and then reproduce to lay eggs before their life comes to an end. Number 13, Taranto entry, Taranto. To give you an idea of the size of the Taranto entry, it's probably enough to just look at its name. The tarantula displays its favorite food and also turns it into a large tarantula graveyard. This insect is indeed large and can be found in Southeast Asia, India, America, Africa, and Australia, and almost all over the world except in cold regions. This particular spider wasp is the official insect of New Mexico, a unique state symbol that definitely attracts tourists. And like most insects, there are variations, but the females are usually larger, about 3 inches long, and have wings that are 4 inches wide, enough to cause nightmares and capable of facing a tarantula. These female creatures use their 1.25-inch sharp sting to paralyze their victim and place it underground where they slowly remove and eat the spider. Though intimidating and with a sharp sting, their appearance is frightening. They rarely harm humans, but don't provoke them because they can attack if they feel threatened or annoyed, even just a little. Number 12, Giant Burrowing Cockroach. The giant burrowing cockroach is known as the tallest and heaviest cockroach in the world. The fat and wide body of these cockroaches can reach almost 3 inches in length, and they can live up to 10 years, with some even being kept as pets. This unusual insect can be found in Australia, particularly in the forests of northern Queensland, where they build their burrows in the ground and live there permanently. This is where they do everything from burying their young, sometimes up to 30 at a time, to raising them and repeating the cycle. Although their large, brown, and shiny bodies may seem a bit frightening, they are an amazing part of the ecosystem. The way they move and use the soil helps recycle natural dead materials, turning them into rich soil on the forest floor. They build burrows and chambers underground and only come out to the surface at night to look for dry leaves. This simple activity is actually very important to the health of the entire ecology of the area, which is amazing. To think that even the smallest creature has an important role and that no creature is without value. Number flies. The Midas flies are large flies. And depending on your perspective, whether they are colossal or not, the truth is, they are big enough to leave a nightmarish impression. They measure about 2 to 3 inches long, and just imagine, a 2-inch fly is really huge. Aside from their size, they usually live in large swarms, which makes them even more annoying and really more terrifying to look at. Midas flies are usually dark tan or black in color, with some red, yellow, or orange markings, and they only have one pair of wings. However, their antennae and eyes are different, which really makes them stand out from other flies. They can be found in North America, in forests, open areas with soil, and even in desert environments. They feed on nectar and pollen, and they also like beetle larvae, so you will often find them in decaying wood, digging for tasty snacks. Number 10, Hercules beetle. Although it's not officially the largest beetle, that title goes to the Goliath beetle, the Hercules beetle is still not a small insect. These large, creepy crawlies can grow as big as an adult man's hand, which is quite unsettling, especially when you include their alien-like horns that work together to form a pincer. The females don't have horns and are usually a bit smaller, but they have the ability to release a very strong pheromone. If there's a male nearby, he will quickly find her, drawn to her, and the males really can't resist the scent coming from the female. There's also what's called the beetle enthusiast trade, where insect fans are very fond of the Hercules beetle. There are even some who are willing to spend almost $700 just to add a Hercules beetle to their collection. Number 9, giant water bugs. At first glance, the name giant water bug sounds innocent, but don't be fooled. These insects have some rather scary and deadly eating habits. They are true predators that live in freshwater marshes, ponds, and pools in different parts of the world. They usually hide under aquatic plants, waiting for tasty prey to pass by. And when there is prey, they will grab it using their pincer-like appendage and inject the prey with their venomous digestive saliva. This unique liquid softens the internal organs of the prey so that the giant water bug can simply suck out the insides without needing to chew. They can kill and suck the prey that is even bigger than themselves. And although they don't usually target humans, you can get bitten and hurt if you get too close to them. Their bite is actually not venomous, but it is extremely painful, so watch your feet. Number 8, Actaeon beetle. Here's another giant beetle for your enjoyment, the Actaeon beetle, another contender for the largest beetle crown. Its size is 4.7 inches long and 2.8 inches wide, while the largest one can reach almost 5.4 inches. Even though they are not the smallest insects and perhaps not the largest we've seen, they are the heaviest, which is quite remarkable. With the highest recorded weight of 8.04 ounces, this insect is not only the heaviest beetle, but also the heaviest among all insects. Another interesting thing about this beetle is its name. They were named after Actaeon, a famous hero in Greek mythology. The story of Actaeon is quite unusual. From being a hunter, he became a deer and was then chased and tormented by his own hounds. But how this beetle got its name remains a mystery. Number 7, giant darnered dragonfly. This beautiful and enormous dragonfly is the largest in the entire United States. The most noticeable thing about them is their bright blue and black color, which makes them easy to recognize. They are also large, and these big insects are often found in southern states such as Arizona, California, Colorado, Nevada, and New Mexico. And they prefer smaller areas. This is the ideal environment to protect their eggs and young from predators. And it also provides the right temperature and humidity for their biological makeup. The diet of the giant darnard consists of smaller insects, particularly mosquitoes, as well as flies and ants near ponds. Their main predator as adults is the hummingbird, but before they reach adulthood, their larvae are often eaten by fish and other aquatic insects, but it's truly impressive that some of them still manage to survive. Number 6. St. Helena earwig. The news about this is a bit sad because in 2014, the world's largest earwig was declared extinct. But of course, earwigs aren't exactly pleasant, but the loss of a species is truly sad. Before it completely disappeared, it held the title as the largest of all earwigs, reaching almost 3.1 inches. The problem is, these insects were only found in one place in the world, St. Helena Island in the remote southern Pacific. And when they disappeared from there, it meant they were gone everywhere. And as usual, humans contributed to their disappearance. The removal of rocks from their habitat likely caused a significant decline in their population. In addition, the arrival of invasive species such as rats and spiders caused a major and irreversible impact on the delicate balance of the ecosystem. Number 5. Scolopendra gigantea centipede. The centipede known as Scolopendra gigantea is usually found in tropical and subtropical forests in the northern part of South America. This is officially the largest of all centipedes in the world, so it truly deserves to be given a crown, a badge, or even a certificate from the Guinness Book of World Records. However, these creatures are far too busy crawling around the leaves and decaying wood of the rainforest to worry about being part of the record book. These centipedes are usually more than 12 inches long and use their size to hunt large prey. Their favorite foods include other insects, especially spiders, crabs, and millipedes, as well as some mammals like rats and bats, and sometimes even ibises or frogs. This shows just how big this monster is. And before you think their victims are always small, humans are not safe from their venomous bite. There have been recorded cases. Death can be caused by the bite of the Scolopendra gigantea, which is quite terrifying, right? Number 4. The Orthoptera lived in North America and Great Britain during the Carboniferous period. This was a 20-foot-long millipede with a body made up of up to 30 armored plates, and it had one pair of legs and one plate per segment. They fed on dead wood and leaves, and they grew large because of the high concentration of oxygen in the atmosphere during that time. And because their eyesight was almost useless, it is believed that their sense of smell and touch were more developed to help them find food and sense other animals around them. Even though this was the largest invertebrate that ever lived, this creature was purely vegetarian. And the only thing you should be afraid of is if it crawls onto your face while you're sleeping. Number 3. Giant African stick mantis. The giant African stick mantis is a type of praying mantis that some people like to keep as a pet. It's true, they look unusual and have unique characteristics. But what kind of interaction can you really get from a predatory insect? And if you know anything, share it in the comments. Why are they so attractive as pet insects? Aside from being a favorite of some domestic insect keepers, the giant African stick mantis is the largest in the entire mantis family. They can reach several inches or more, and the longest one recorded was over half a foot. Usually they live for at least a year, and after reaching maturity, they don't live as long as dogs. They have some distinctive features, and they are stick mimics, so they're perfect at camouflaging among tree branches. This helps them catch prey and avoid predators. These insects really look like they're from a science fiction film, with alien-eyed heads, extremely frightening bodies, and scary movements that are perfect inspirations for nightmares. In addition, the well-known trait of the female is sexual cannibalism, where they eat the male's head after mating. This may seem psychotic, but it is believed to help with reproduction, and, of course, benefits the female since the male is gone. Number 2, Wallace's giant bee. The Wallace's giant bee is the largest known species of bee in the world. It is critically endangered and was once thought to be extinct until it was rediscovered in 1981. People also sometimes think it is extinct when no specimens are found for many years. However, in 2019, a live female Wallace giant bee was caught on camera. So there is still hope that a population remains and total extinction has been avoided. The remaining bees are black crescent bees with large jaws that are not dangerous. They are 0.9 to 1.5 inches long and have a wingspan that reaches up to 2.5 inches, enough to be noticeable. The large jaws are special to the females, and this is what sets them apart from other types of bees. They use their jaws to collect resin, form it into a large ball, and use it to build their nest inside the termite nest. It's a bit unusual, but that's really how the world of insects is. Number 1, alligator bug. At first glance, the alligator bug looks like an ordinary insect. It has wings, legs, and all the usual features of a bug. But its head tells a completely different story. It's also known as the peanut bug, and some creatures in the rainforest find it very tasty. Because of this tiny insect needs various unique adaptations to survive. The alligator bug has many defense mechanisms built into its body. One of these is camouflage with markings and colors that make it easier for them to blend into their environment. Their peanut-shaped alligator head is another mechanism that looks like the big head of an alligator or a snake, making them appear scary instead of tasty to eat. Their head is detachable and can be removed, so if a predator tries to bite it, the bug still has a chance to escape. They also have a large eye-like pattern on their wings. So if the predator isn't scared by their appearance, they can show this big eye pattern to frighten the attacker. And as a last defense, they can release a foul-smelling liquid, just as bad as a skunk's odor, to stop a hungry predator. Now, how about you? Are you a fan of big insects? Share your opinions in the comment section. And of course, before we end, hit the subscribe button so you'll always be updated on our upcoming videos.